Did you guys take part in Halloween Comicfest? Did you get yourself some free comics? I did. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome, mad creators, to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And those are the type of things you might find around Halloween, and it's getting close to Halloween. But last weekend, there was a Halloween celebration. It was Halloween Comicfest. Are you guys familiar with this? It was something I didn't really know about until I was invited to attend an event for this. It's almost like free comic book day, but you can come in costume and you can get even more free comics than you normally would. At least that's the way my local comic book store ran it. If you come down, you get I think 3 free comics. If you come in costume, you get 5, so that's kind of cool. It encourages people to come down and dress in costume and stuff, and there were a lot of kids that did that, and it's just a great way to introduce kids into comics and get newer readers and everything, and there were a lot of cool comics, and I'll show you some of that. But the other thing that kind of worked well for me is, if you didn't know, I just kind of, me and a lot of my closest friends, we just finished this book, Werewolves and Unicorns and Other Mythical Creatures. It is a comic book anthology, and myself and Abel Parsons, both of us have stories in here. We both appeared and we signed copies of this and everything, and it's kind of got a Halloween theme because it's got werewolves and everything, and a lot of, you know, it's mythical creatures and cryptids and things like that. So it fit pretty well right in with the whole Halloween vibe, and it was fun to hang out with Abel Parsons, also known as Abe Sapien in some areas of the internet. And of course my book, Young and the Dead, also is, you know, it's kid versus zombie, so it's very Halloween centric as well. So the books that I do, they fit right in with Halloween because that's kind of like one of my favorite holidays. But like I said, so I went down there, I did some sketches. Abel also did some sketches. He actually gave me a couple of sketches that he did. These are 2 of the characters from his story, and both of which featured a werewolf and a unicorn. Mine kind of fell in the other mythical creatures category. I didn't have any werewolves and unicorns, but so these are some of the sketches that Abe did. But it was fun just kind of hanging out and drawing and everything. And if you did come down, then you can get some free comics now. I was lucky enough to get 1 of each, and there are tons of them that they had there. And they kind of break down in 2 different categories. There's the mini comics, and the cool thing about these is you can go and you get your free comics. You can also buy some of these in packs of, I don't know if it was 20 or how many, I don't know how many came in a pack, 25 or something like that. But you could buy a pack and then you could hand those out for Halloween, kind of like what, if you watched the last video, Alterna does. They've got the thing called Alternaween. So now I've got even more comics to hand out for, you know, for Halloween, and I just think that's so cool. But here's some of the stuff I got. So the mini comics are all very kid friendly. And so we got this spook house. Now I'm not going to go through all of these because we don't have time, but I did kind of look at this and I thought it was really cool. Now if you know, Mad Magazine is no longer a thing. They kind of stopped publication, but this is a really cool thing because they have, yeah, this spook house, which is done by Eric Powell, who I think created the Goon. And it's kind of it's sort of an IT parody. It's IT, like a technical support parody, but Pennywise is the technical support guy. And it just reminds me of Mad Magazine, and looking at that, I thought that was really cool. And there's some other stories in there. It's sort of a mini anthology. So that was really cool. Of course, Archie there's always Halloween versions of Archie. Archie's kind of cool. Actually, I have a sketch cover on Archie #1 that I did that actually you can pick up at Surprise Comics if you want to get that. But so Archie, again, all kid-friendly stuff. Underdog. I mean, there's some classics in here. Superhero Girls, which I really like the character designs on these, and I've seen the toys and everything, and I think that's really cool. Maybe get some girls into some of the superhero stuff, but that's the thing. It's, you know, comics aren't just superheroes. There's all kinds of stuff. Obviously, you know, classics like Mickey Mouse. Again, more Archie, Betty and Veronica. It looked like. What's it? Okay, R.L. Stine. So creator of Goosebumps. So he's got a comic book story. You know, that's kind of cool. What else? Usagi Yojimbo. awesome I mean, Stan Sakai's been doing this book for a long time, but it's really cool to see this still, you know, going and everything. Great character. Here's something, this is kind of a double one. It's Swamp, looks like DC, so it's Swamp Kid, which looks, oh, and I did look at this one too. This one was interesting because it's almost, to me, it looks like, almost like Diary of the Wimpy Kid, of a Wimpy Kid. And I used to do stuff like this when I was a kid, sort of in my journals, and I would draw this kind of stuff. And now there's people making tons and tons of money doing stuff like that, and maybe I should have went down that road. But then also there's a Black Canary story, and this looks more kind of, not necessarily like the superhero girls, but also kid-friendly, and it looks kind of a cool version of Black Canary. Obviously, she's got that screaming power, which works great for being a lead singer, which I think even in the, like, kind of regular canon is the case. We got Loud House, which looks like a Nickelodeon cartoon. I'm not really familiar with that. Splatoon, which I do like the character designs on this. I've seen some of the stuff in the video game. I'm not a big gamer, but I am familiar with that. Of course, Pokemon and Ninja Turtles. This is something from Golden Apple Comics. Golden Apple is an actual comic book store, so they also publish comics, but this, what is it, Blastosaurus? Kind of cool, so they got that. So those are the mini comics, and then let me go into the other comics. Now, some of these are all ages, some of them are for mature audiences, and some of them, like DC, I guess teen, yeah, rated teen. So we got Deceased. I don't know if this is more like a Marvel zombie for DC. I'm not sure, I haven't read it yet, but it kind of looks like it might be going that route. This one, let's see, Anayu, I think it's pronounced. This one looks really cool. I was looking at this, and very nice painted covers. Checking out, not covers, but just the whole book and everything. Very cool. And then we've got some, this is dark red, and we've got some black and white, and I'm a big fan of black and white too. You know, I'm kind of all over the place with the stuff I like. This is Aspen Mascots. This is an all ages title from Aspen Comics. I guess these are characters that you know, sort of the like kid-friendly versions of some of their characters, I'm guessing. But what's cool is it's done sort of in a coloring book, and I have a coloring book style, and I always, you know, it's got activities and stuff, which is really cool. The only thing that they did, which I don't know why they do this, they printed on glossy paper, and if you ever try to color with crayons on a glossy stock, yeah, I don't know why they didn't go flat stock on this, but you know, it's free, so I guess I can't complain. But that's kind of cool. I used to design a lot of like coloring books and stuff like that, so I'm a big fan of those, and I've got like files of all these coloring, like children's menus that I used to collect when I used to go out to eat, just for ideas for little games and things like that. So I'm a big fan of that stuff. Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze #1, another free comic version, and I actually did a couple of Ghost Rider sketch covers. I'm going to show you the process of some of that, and then on a later video, I'll show you the one that I did one that was a giveaway, and they did it as a raffle. If you came in costume, you got to enter for the raffle. So I did that, and I'm going to show that one in another video, but we got that. And then we got some manga, some really cool manga here. And then what else we got? Doodleville and Aster, the Accidental Magic. I'm not familiar with this, but very cool cartooning. Of course, everyone knows Iron Man, Tony Stark, Iron Man. So there's some cool stuff. Battle Cats. I don't think this has anything to do with Masters of the Universe, but looks pretty cool. A nice painted cover on that one. Of course, more all ages stuff. You got Sonic the Hedgehog, more manga. Oh man, that looks real. Look at that. Look at that. That's pretty cool, man. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. That looks some great cartooning. It's great sound effects and stuff like that. More manga. Yeah, and again, this is glossy. The other one was on a flat stock. Looks way better, in my opinion. Lady Mechanica. Now this looks really cool. It's sort of like looks like steampunk meets De los Muertos or something, but very cool. Definitely got a steampunk vibe to it, very Victorian, and then sort of Day of the Dead type thing. And then, oh yeah, we're back to, I guess I already showed you that one, the Deceased one. So those are some of the free comics I got, but I want to show you some of the sketches and just kind of talk about the event and sort of the experience I had. And in order to do that, we got to go right up here to the paralleloscope. Hey everyone, I am back at Surprise Comics, my local comic book store, and today's kind of a cool event. It is Halloween Comicfest. I wasn't really aware of this. It might be a new thing, I don't know. I think they've done it at least one year before, if not more, but if you're a fan of Free Comic Book Day, it's kind of like that, but it's around Halloween time, so you can also come dressed in your costume and everything and get your free comics. We're giving away, I did a Ghost Rider, kind of a cool white ink on black sketch cover that they're going to be giving away, and I'm going to be here doing some sketches and stuff. Obviously by the time I post this it will be over, but I just kind of want to recap and show you what it's all about. So yeah, let's go inside. So here's some of the mini comics I showed, but there are a few I didn't get. That House of Fear and that Cthulhu Jr. There was a Miles Morales Spider-Man. And I guess they must have sold out or something, because I didn't have those to show. But anyway, so in addition to the free comics and everything, one of the things that they brought me in to do was just sketches and everything. They also, the owners, Matt and Melissa, they commissioned me to do a sketch cover it was a Ghost Rider, I guess Ghost Rider #1. It was not like a classic Ghost Rider. I mean, there's been so many different iterations, but it was kind of interesting because, and they gave me a few different copies. So I did one version, and then I was doing a different sketch that you'll see towards the end. The one you won't see, I will do a whole separate video, but it came out pretty good. But they want to do these contests, so they commissioned me to do one of those. And so basically what it is if you've seen the stuff that I was doing for Inktober, I was inking on black paper, and this Ghost Rider happened to be a black sketch cover. So I kind of did the same process and everything. And it was sort of a wraparound cover where Ghost Rider was on his bike, and then, you know, the chains flipping around and everything. And I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. So they actually gave that away as a prize. And, you know, if you come in costume, you're automatically entered in the prize, and that's pretty cool. So I did that, and then I also did what you're seeing here, which I've got one guy that always comes in and commissions me to do some really cool stuff, and it's always a challenge. Yeah, I mean, I never know what to expect when it comes in. And what's cool is he likes me to draw on my own branded stuff. So you know, I'm still using Young and the Dead, because first I brought those just to do the zombie, you know, kind of my zombie sketches and everything. But no, he was like, no, I want it on this. Yeah, I want it on your own personal, you know, kind of sketch cards and everything. So with this, what he wanted me to do was a sketch of, I guess there was a character who was like a Spider Hulk. But he wanted Spider Thing. When he first told me Spider Thing, I'm like, oh man, that sounds kind of cool. And I didn't know what he's talking about as far as the Thing. I was thinking just a Spider Thing, and I had a totally different thing in my mind. No, he says, no, like a mashup between the Thing and Spider-Man. But he wanted him to sort of be facing off with another mashup of Doctor Doom and Carnage. So I don't know if you saw the sketch there. But I'm just inking these in right now. But yeah, so it was kind of fun to do that and everything. Yeah, I just had a blast. And like I said before, I got to hang out with another 100s alum who was also featured in the anthology and everything, Abel Parsons, and he was doing some cool sketches and stuff too. But it was kind of fun. I just like going and doing that, and talking to people. I wish I would have got some more footage of the actual event. Because there were people in costumes, and unfortunately I was so busy sketching that I didn't have a chance to take the phone out and film some of that stuff. But a lot of kids came in and everything, and that was really cool. And, you know, in costume and everything. So that was pretty awesome. The only thing that I had to sort of compete with was, well, not necessarily compete with. I'm sure all the different stores had different people signing, and I'm not a big name or a big draw, but people do like to come and get commissions from, you know, any artist really. So I don't know what a lot of the other comic stores, but I do know that Todd McFarlane, who is local to Arizona, he was doing a signing, I guess, at Alamo Draft House, which I love Alamo Draft House and everything, and we do have one, and it's more in the East Valley in Chandler, Arizona. So he was doing that, but in my mind, you know, the whole idea behind these comic day events is to get people into the local comic store. So, you know,
signing in a movie theater is one thing, but I really think you need to support your local comic book store and everything. But that was cool. I saw some of the updates that McFarlane was doing and everything, and he definitely had a, you know, obviously a big line because he is a big draw. He's like one of the, you know, most famous people in comics still. But anyway, you can kind of see some of the sketch that I'm doing here, the Carnage, and I ended up coloring these in and everything too, but I didn't film that part. But if you see here that Boba Fett comic, I actually did have the Boba Fett comic, but I forgot to show it because I was reading it and I forgot to put it with the other ones. But that leads me to something that's sort of Halloween, you know, that centers around Halloween and everything having to do with Boba Fett. But as a kid, Boba Fett was one of the characters that I dressed up as Halloween. And back then, I think they did have a Boba Fett costume. But I was lucky enough that my parents really made some awesome costumes for me and my brother. And one of the ones they did was Boba Fett. And I remember they actually bought like the kind of that chintzy like Ben Cooper Boba Fett mask, the one with the little rubber band and everything. But they took the front of that and they built a back to it and everything. It was like on a motorcycle helmet. And then they built the rocket pack and the whole thing. And my mom sewed the you know, the whole outfit with the, you know, with all the pouches and stuff that he's got, that Boba Fett has. And you know, they made the gauntlets and the whole thing. So that was a really cool costume. I wish I do have a picture somewhere I could have thrown it in, but that sort of reminded me of just some of the great experiences and memories I have of Halloween. So I was also, one year I was a Tusken Raider, and if you've been watching this long enough, I probably tell this story around every Halloween, so bear with me if you heard it before. But my favorite costume of all time, and I actually used to enter in costume contests, and I won some prizes and things too. But yeah, it was my favorite costume that my parents designed for me was a Tusken Raider riding a bantha. So it was, you know, I remember going to a couple different costume contests. One, you know, I could either be on the bantha or just walking around in the costume, because the Tusken Raider, or Sandman, is the other term for it. I could walk around as that character, or I could kind of get in the bantha, and the bantha had these fake legs on the side, so it actually looked like I was riding it. And it was really, you know, it was really cool. I mean, compared to some of the cosplay stuff they have nowadays, probably not, but I mean, you have to understand, back in the day, I mean, they just didn't have that kind of stuff. So I mean, cosplay wasn't like a thing, and they didn't have the internet where people could learn how to make these incredible costumes. But you know, like I said, I mean, there were some really cool costumes that my parents made for me and my brother and everything. So those are all awesome, fond memories. But I guess I should, you know, I've been showing this version of the Ghost Rider, and like I mentioned before, what I did, and this one here is another version. I just wanted to do sort of a close up, and that, like I said, it is a wraparound, so I might have the motorcycle in the background. And I was thinking of actually inking it like I do the Inktober, and like I did the other sketch cover that they gave away. And like I said, I will do another video and I'll show you that process, because I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. But with this one, I'm thinking I might, and I didn't finish it because this was towards the end of the day. I didn't have enough time to finish it, but I just started doing the sketching in pencil, and like a white pencil, and that's kind of how I did the other ones too. But then I went over it in like a white ink and white jelly roll pens, just kind of like I was doing for my Inktober projects. But with this one, I'm thinking I might try to just do it all in pencil, and right now it's fairly light and I'm kind of sketching it out, but just get a little darker and get some actual shading and everything. But I think that might come out pretty cool. So I don't know, like I said, I didn't finish it, but I don't know if I'll ever like get back to it. I might when I have some free time, and because I think it's something that could kind of turn out pretty cool. And I like doing some of these sketch covers, especially this one, because it's unique and it's on black. And they were telling me about another one, I forgot what it was, if it was some sort of a Batman one that was on red, and I thought that would be really cool to do, because then you could that's kind of a middle color where you could actually ink in black and white. You know, get some white pens and some white ink and also black. But you know, obviously, if I tried to use black on this, you're probably just not going to see it. But it's cool it's kind of cool to experiment and And I was having fun doing some of these sketching, and some of these commissions and things like that. But it's always fun. It's fun to hang out with friends and draw, and just these store signing events. And this shop is super close to me, so it's not far away. It's good. It kind of, it's not quite, well, it's totally different than doing a con, like a Comic Con. But since I'm not doing really that many Comic Cons anymore, it's nice to kind of get out and meet people and go to these store signings and do this kind of stuff. And the owners of Surprise Comics are super cool and everything. And it's fun. I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to doing this event again. And there's some other events coming up too that hopefully I'll get to go and sign. And I've got there's other artists and other friends that I want to go see that are doing signings, and they've got book release parties and stuff like that. So there's always something going on at your local comic book store. So go check it out and go and talk to some of the people there, because we want these comic stores to stay around, so we've got to go in and patronize these places and keep them going and everything. And I just love going to my local comic shop.
All right, so that was my experience of Halloween Comicfest for 2019, but I want to know about you guys. Did you guys have an event that you went to? Did you dress up in costume? Did you get yourself some free comics? If you did, what were some of your favorite comics? Let me know in the comments section, and I will see you guys later. That is all.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media, and now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. If you like making comics, then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more, and best of all, it's totally free.